Good morning, everybody. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in my crock pot and hope it turns out good. And I'm going to be starting with that sack of potatoes right there. So first I'm going to wash all the potatoes and pick out the bad ones. They're getting kind of, you can see this one. Let's see if I can focus. See how wrinkly it is? And you can see, I don't know if you can see, but how squishy that is. Some of them are still okay, but some of them are getting a little too squishy, and potatoes should not be squishy. Alright, I got a big old pot of diced up or cubed up potatoes. Probably like 3 to 5 pounds of it. It was like half of a big 10-pound sack that I had. I'm going very loosely, and I say very loosely, off a recipe from Forks Over Knives for like a veggie stew. And I'll put the link below, but it's going to be way different than this. It was just kind of flipping through recipes on the internet, and that's the one I kind of landed on. So I'm going to be adding some carrots, celery, and onion as well. Alright, that's about 2 to 3 stalks of celery. I just had some leftover celery from a vegetable tray, and then that's my snack. I just added 1 medium to medium large onion chunked up, and I just added 3 medium carrots that have seen better days. You can call this a better days veggie stew, because the potatoes and the carrots both really needed to be used up, and the celery was probably going to be needed to used up pretty soon as well. Alright, now I'm going to go get some liquids and some spices together. Alright, so it calls for some fresh garlic, which I am out of. So I'm going to use some garlic powder. I'm going to do... Oh, by the way, what I'm doing is I have 2 cans of diced tomatoes in here, and it says to blend it up with some spices and a little bit of sugar, and the sugar helps take the acidity out. It says if you don't want to use regular sugar, you can go ahead and pop in a couple of dates. I'm going to use some raw white sugar. I have dates too, but I figured I would try that. So I'm going to just kind of add what I got. So this is 2 14-ounce cans. And then I have a tablespoon of granulated garlic that I'm going to put in there. Let's see, I think it said 2 tablespoons of sugar, but I'm going to go with 1 first. Just 1 tablespoon of the raw granulated sugar, and see if it needs more from there. Let me grab some other herbs. Alright, it called for like a teaspoon of chipotle powder, which would be way too spicy for me, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of smoked paprika instead. And again, I'll link it in the description box below, so if you're curious what the real recipe is. And then it said 2 teaspoons of herbe de Provence, which I don't have. So I just put in 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And again, I might be adding a lot more seasoning to this. It's just going to depend on how it tastes. And then it said you can do salt and pepper to taste. So I'm just going to use some of the Trader Joe's pink Himalayan salt. Probably start out with probably a teaspoon, and then go from there, because you saw that pot was a big huge pot of potatoes and carrots and celery and onions, so got to be kind of realistic. If you can do the whole no salt thing, more power to you. I'm not quite there yet, so we're going to put some of that in. And then a little pepper will do ya. However much pepper you want, spicy, however spicy you want it to be, whatever kind of pepper you want it to be. Alright, I'm going to blend this up and see what it's missing. Alright, let's see what it tastes like. It's definitely sweet enough. I'm going to add more Italian herb, probably a whole, like a little small palmful, which is probably close to about a tablespoon. I have to remember I'm flavoring a lot of stuff, so I want the flavor to be a lot more intense. Unfortunately, I am out of a little bit more smoked paprika too. Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute. and that usually adds a lot of flavor too. So I'm going to go see if I have some Mrs. Dash or some sort of other seasoning blend to kind of kick this up a little bit. Well, this is something that most of you probably won't have, so just find a spice blend that you like. This is from a company that's no longer in business. It's called Tastefully Simple. My friend Denise used to work for them. This is a all-natural dry tomato garlic pesto mix. So I'm just going to put in probably about a tablespoon of that and see if that helps add some flavor. This is actually supposed to be used as like a dip, and you're supposed to like mix it with like oil or butter or something, and then dip bread in it. But I thought, why not? And it needs a lot more pepper. So I don't want this to be too sweet, but I don't want it to be too spicy. I would like a balance. And the salt was right on as far as right now. So let me blend this up and see what else it might need. All right, I blended it up really well. So let's see what else it needs. That's a lot better. All right, I think that's good. So let's move on over to the crock pot. All right, guys, I just poured that whole container over the crock pot. I'm also going to add some low sodium vegetable stock now. And then this bad boy is going to cook for about 6 hours on low. And I'll just check it throughout the day, kind of see if it needs more seasoning. And then I will let you know how it turns out later tonight. Thanks for watching, and I'll come back to you. It'll be, I don't know, probably 7-8 hours from now. See y'all later. Alright guys, here it is. It smells amazing. Everything is nice and tender. I just got a fork and kind of poked stuff and, well, on a spoon. So everything's fork tender, which is what you want it to be. If you test it with a knife's going to go through a lot easier than a fork does, so if you test it with a fork and it goes through with ease, then you know it's really done. So I just got myself a little bowl with like one piece of everything, and I'm going to let it cool for a second and try it and see if it needs any more seasoning. The sauce itself tastes pretty good, so I'm hoping that the potatoes absorbed everything, all the flavors. So I will let you know. Hey everybody, I literally like 10 minutes ago just woke up from a nap. I ended up putting this on low for 3 hours, and when I checked it, it was still, the potatoes were still pretty firm, so I ended up putting it on high for another 2, and I just checked it now, so that was a total of 5 hours of cooking, 3 on low, 5 on 2. So I don't know, maybe 8 hours on low could have done it, 4 hours on high probably for sure could have done it, so kind of go with whatever you want to try, or if you want to make the chunks smaller. This is, you know, this is the size of the chunks. I guess they were inch-sized chunks that I made the potatoes and carrots. Anyways, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Super tender. The potatoes are nice and creamy. Yummy stewed vegetables. Good. Maybe a tad more salt, but I'm not going to add any. And some other richer flavor. Maybe like a vegan Worcestershire sauce would have been good in here. It just needs like a depth of flavor, or like mushroom powder or something like that. You could have probably even taken like some dried shiitakes and blended those up just to give it like a deep flavor. But it's actually really good. So my husband and I will be eating off of this for the next several days because that's a huge crock pot. I think my crock pot's a 7-quart, so that should be good for us. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If y'all make your own vegetable stews, let me know what you do different. Let me know any tips or tricks, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.